Dear students, today we are going to discuss the topic that is Young's two double slit experiment, or you can say two slit experiment. So this basically deals with the property that is interference of light. Okay, so we have already discussed in our previous video what about interference of light. This in this particular experiment, what is the main principle behind this? Main motive behind this experiment was has some quantum and mechanical background. So in the very initial phase, there was a confusion regarding the nature of light. So some of them were suggesting that light behaves like a wave, is exactly a perfect wave, but and there was also some kind of notion that it also behaves like particle. So this led somewhere to the the de Broglie wave particle duality theory. So we are not going to do much about it right now, because but one thing I want to tell you, that Young's double slit experiment has proven that the light is not merely a particle. Light is exactly actually a wave. So there are so many experiments which proved that light behaves like a particle, like photoelectric effect. So and some experiments are there which proves that light behaves like a wave, just like Young's double slit experiment. So this experiment has proven that light behaves like a wave. Okay, so this is about the main motive behind performing this experiment. But here we are basically going to study it from the point of view of property of light. What he was trying to do is that so he was trying to understand that if you allow light to fall on it like this, say suppose this picture, you can see that this is the source. Okay, so this is a single pinhole, so light is falling on it, and after passing through that light, the pinhole means the light will be it will be directed in a particular direction, and it will be collimated. So and after that it falls on this particular plane, or you can say a kind of sheet where two slits are made, S1 and S2, you can see in the diagram. And after passing through that, the light will be like, from here one ray of light will come out, and here one ray of light will come out. Okay, so you can say that this is the single source, and these are the two pinholes. So using this pinholes, we are creating secondary wavefronts. Okay, this is a primary wavefront. Here we are going to get some primary wavefronts like that. Okay, so when it will fall on it, so we are going to have secondary wavefronts like this. Okay, so these rays of light will interfere at different positions, and when they will meet in the final screen like this, so we are going to have different patterns. Okay, so that's all about the Young's double slit experiment. Again, I'm going to tell you what happens here. So again, I'm saying that this is the single pinhole. So whatever ray of light from a source, so you can behave it like, consider it as like a source. Okay, this is the source. So after light passes through it, it will fall on here also. In many direction it will fall, in many direction it will fall like that, but only the light passing through S1 and S2 will be allowed here. Okay, so after the ray of light comes out of it, so like that it is falling on it, and then it goes like that, and their ray of light goes like this. So they are interfering somewhere. So there may be other rays of light like that also coming out of it, other rays of light like that coming out of it. Okay, so we are having so we can see that rays of light coming from this S1 and S2 are meeting here. At this point they are meeting, so here we are having interference. Okay, so exactly following the principle of superposition of waves, so here we are having interference of light. So depending upon the path length, or path difference. Okay, depending upon path difference between what, the ray of light coming from S1 and also the ray of light coming from S2, depending upon the path difference, we are going to have dark or bright fringes on the screen. Okay, that's about the Young's double slit experimental setup. So I will again express it in terms of wavefront. So you see, so instead of talking in terms of a ray of light, we will talk in terms of a wavefront. How does it work? So this is a source, so ray of light is coming out like that. So this is a spherical wavefront. Obviously point source gives out spherical wavefront, we have already discussed that. So when the wavefront will fall on it, it will face two sources, so it will be divided. So it will be like this. Similarly, from this source also there is another source S2. So from here also another secondary wavefront will come out like this. Okay, so here also the secondary wavefronts are coming out like this. So when they reach the screen, so there are different kinds of situations depending upon the path difference between the interfering light. Okay, so depending upon that we will be having dark or bright fringes on the screen. What is that screen? This is the screen. Okay, so that is about Young's double slit experiment. So so spherical wavefronts emanating from S1 and S2 are coherent. How can we ensure that? Because you see, from here this is a single source, S is a single source, the wavefront coming out from it are meeting at the point as S1 and are passing through the holes S1 and S2. So since they are coming out, these secondary wavefronts are coming out from the same source S, so these are the wavefronts coming from S1 and S2 are coherent. Okay, because they are produced from the same source, so they are definitely coherent. So that easily fulfills the condition for interference of light, that has to happen on the screen. Screen means this one. So on the screen the interferences fringes were obtained. Okay, so here what Young explained is that the interference by interference is solely explained on the basis of the principle of superposition of waves. Okay, and we are simply taking the condition for path difference as like even multiple of lambda by 2, that is for bright fringes, odd multiple of lambda by 2 for dark fringes. We are just taking that principle into consideration. Now looking into the exact geometry, so we are going to have something like this figure you can consider. So if you look from the top, the experiment setup will appear to you like that. Okay, so the same diagram that I have explained here, this diagram, if you look from the top, okay, so this is the same diagram that I have drawn here, you can understand. Okay, so when I say that this is the light, means here the path difference is even multiple of lambda by 2. When I say here dark, that means the path difference between the meeting lights, the lights which are ray of light which are imposed on each other, so they have a path difference which is equal to twice n plus 1 into lambda by 2. This means odd multiple of lambda by 2. This means even multiple of lambda by 2. So let us consider this diagram. Okay, so this is simply the source S, the single source, or this is a pinhole S1 and the S2. Since the waves are divided into two parts from S1 and S2, we are considering them as the secondary sources. Okay, so or the source of secondary wavefronts. So ray of light, one ray of light is coming out of it and meeting here at P, another ray of light is coming out of S2 and meeting here at P. Okay, so now we need to decide whether it is a dark or bright. Okay, so that means to be dark or bright, what should be that? The path, first of all we need to know path difference. Okay, so path difference is nothing but S2P minus S1P. Okay, so if has to be a bright fringe, then it should be twice n lambda by 2 if it is to be a bright fringe. Okay, and if it has to be a dark fringe, it should be twice n plus 1 into lambda by 2 if it has to be a dark fringe. Okay, so we have everything. So distance between the pinholes and the screen is D as usual. So this distance is yn. Okay, so this is the distance of the, you can say, what is yn? Yn is the distance of the nth fringe. Okay, fringe from the center, from center. Fine. So we are considering some axis, like this one is y axis, and so we should keep some axis in our mind, and distance between S1 and S2 is considered to be small d. So that is the geometrical consideration. Let me clear the diagram again, so that when we will be doing the mathematics, it will be easier for you to consider the geometry. Okay, now as usual, that I have already told you that for an arbitrary point P on the screen to correspond to a maximum, so maximum means it should be a bright fringe, it should be a bright fringe. Okay, we have this thing is nothing but the path difference, as I have already discussed. The path difference should always be even multiple of lambda by 2. Okay, so this is nothing but n lambda. All right, so that's why you see S2p minus S1p is equal to n lambda. So what has to be done? Now we need to find out what is S2p separately, and then need to find out what is S1p separately. Now let us check what is S2p. So let me clear this out from the diagram. Okay, so you can see that when we talk about S2p, so is it like a part of a triangle, right angle triangle? This is a right angle. Okay, so applying Pythagoras theorem, so S2p is a hypotenuse, isn't it? So it is equal to square equal to this one square plus this one square. Am I correct? So this one square means d square plus, now I need this one square also. Okay, so this square is nothing but, see, this whole thing is d, so this thing is d by 2 and this thing is d by 2. This, if this thing is d by 2, that means this much is also d by 2 and this much is yn. So the whole thing will be equal to what? Yn plus d by 2. So this is nothing but yn plus d by 2 whole square. Hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus perpendicular square. Okay, so what do we have? S2p square is equal to, so this is the same thing as we have obtained, S2p square equal to d square plus yn plus d by 2 whole square. So this thing we obtained. Similarly, let us get back to S1p. Let me remove this. So this much is d by 2, this much is also d by 2. So when we talk about S1p, so S1p, this is a part of a right angle triangle, so S1p square is equal to, so this is again d square plus, now I need this much square, so this much square is nothing but yn, this whole thing is yn and this thing is minus, so yn minus d by 2, so it is yn minus d by 2 whole square. Okay, so we have S1p, this is actually this is S2p whole square, this is S1p whole square equal to this much. So we need to, now we are just subtracting these two. So if we subtract like this, it will be this. So s2p square, so if you simplify this, what happens? D square plus yn square my plus twice dyn d by 2 minus d square minus yn square, then minus minus plus 2d, sorry, this is something wrong, let me simplify it again. So this I will do this, so d square plus yn square plus d square by 4 plus twice yn d by 2, then minus d square minus yn square minus d square by 4 minus minus plus twice yn d by 2. So d square gets cancelled, yn square gets cancelled, d square gets cancelled, so 2 this gets cancelled. So ultimately we have ynd plus ynd, that is nothing but twice ynd. So s2p whole square minus s1p whole square is nothing but twice ynd. So you know that a square minus b square is nothing but a plus b into a minus b. So we have just done like this. Okay, so here you can see that, so s2p minus s1p is twice ynd by s1p plus s2p. Now let us go back to the diagram. In this diagram, let me remove this, clear all these things so that we can put more geometry into it. Okay, so you can see that s2p is greater than s1p. Okay, so since we are not considering a big experimental setup, this is a very minute experimental setup, so distances, although we are drawing in the diagram in a very large scale, but in actual case the scales are very small. So in that consideration, s2p plus s1p can be approximately equal to d plus d. So d is nothing but this much. Okay, so this is this much, this is this much. So these two addition is considered to be approximately equal to twice d. This is just in consideration, this is not the exact value. So in this place what we are writing, twice d. So we have put twice d. So ultimately 2 gets cancelled, so we have yn d by this much. So you know that for being a bright fringe, as we have already discussed, the path difference should be twice n into lambda by 2. So 2 is nothing but n lambda. We have written this condition already in the note. So n lambda is equal to yn d by capital D. So yn equal to n lambda d by capital D. Okay, so you see yn equal to n lambda d by small d. Okay, now you can understand yn is nothing but distance of the nth fringe from the center. Okay, now it depends on capital D, it depends on small d, it depends on the lambda, that is the wavelength of the light being used, and also it depends upon the order. All right, so here we have written yn represent a distance of the point P from the point O, means point at which the fringe is observed, and O means the center. Okay, now if you want to, you can see that when we see the fringes, suppose this is dark, this is dark, this is dark, okay, this is dark. Okay, so suppose this is the center O, fine, and this is dark. So this is dark, this is bright, this is dark, this is bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark and bright. Okay, now suppose that you have seen this is a bright fringe, is it? This is the bright fringe because we got for maxima. Suppose that this is the distance of the nth bright fringe. Okay, now if I ask you that what is the distance between two consecutive bright fringe, then what you are supposed to do? This is the n minus 1th bright fringe. Alright, if we have a bright fringe here, so it will be n plus 1 bright fringe. Alright, sorry, no, this is up to here only. Okay, so n plus 1. So this is for n plus 1, this is for nth, and this is for n minus 1. So if I do yn and yn minus 1, so this gives the thickness of a fringe. Okay, so this gives the thickness of a fringe. That means yn minus 1 means n minus 1 lambda capital D by small d. Yn means n lambda capital D by small d. So if I do yn minus 1, it will lambda d by small d. Okay, so this thing is called the thickness of a fringe. Okay, so if you take nth and n minus 1, so this thing gives the thickness of the bright fringe approximately. So this is denoted by beta. Beta is nothing but lambda d by small d. Okay, so you can see that this is totally independent of the, it is totally independent of the order n, small n. Okay, so it depends upon wavelength. It depends upon the wavelength which remains constant throughout the experiment. It depends upon the distance capital D, and it depends upon the distance small d between the two slits S1 and S2. So all these things remain constant throughout the experiment. That means beta is also remaining constant throughout the experiment. That means distance between two fringes, whether dark or whether bright, you can repeat the same calculation for dark fringes, then also you will arrive at the same conclusion like this. Okay, that means therefore the dark and bright fringes are equally spaced, as it is independent, it is dependent only on the constant quantities lambda d and capital D. Okay, so the fringes will always remain constant, and here you see with order it doesn't contain the value n. So with order also it is not going to change, it will always remain the constant. So the value beta represents the fringe width or thickness of the fringe. So in exam you may be asked to prove that prove that the fringes produced in interference pattern in Young's double slit experiment are always constant. So then you will have to prove up to this. So that's all for this topic. Thank you.